broadcast network, AfterBuzz TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AfterBuzz TV, the destination for TV superfans, producing aftershows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows, interviewing celebrities and showrunners, and bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Who's gonna sing?
It's all you.
Nobody knows where they might end up. Nobody knows. It's so much girlier without Jason. Hello, AfterBuzzers. If you hear a voice that you're not recognizing, it's a solo from Kristin Strange. Go ahead.
No.
Sorry to put you on the spot like that.
I know the beginning, I swear. The best part.
Welcome to Grey's Anatomy AfterBuzz Season 11, Episode 4. I'm Julie Partin, and as you can see, we have a guest host tonight. Go ahead.
Hello, guys. I'm Kristin Strange. And I'm Kellie. Hi.
We are so happy to be here with you guys. Of course, Jason is off on his morning show gig, and Star couldn't be here tonight. But I would say this was a satisfying episode.
I was like teary through a lot of it. It had me tearing up through a lot of it. It was emotional.
And I'm not notoriously a fan of Ellis Grey episodes.
No,
there's just so much screaming
in this one.
This is a good one.
Yeah, I don't know if any of this was new stuff, but the way it was put together, it was good.
It was definitely.
Well, I felt
the
fulfilled.
young Richard and Ellis flashbacks was pretty awesome, I thought.
That really was. And before people get upset and disappointed, we have to shout out to our Grace family.
Yes.
So the people that keep us going through the week, as always, Alyssa Harding and Calm Jen. That's a new one. IMH17. SP Pechtis, Chelsea Kalaika. Do you have any, Kelly?
I do. Stephanie at Croco_flow. Did I say it right?
Tamba Bumbar. Bridgman Elvira.
Genesis Cruz. There's a lot of you guys. So keep tweeting. Use the hashtag GraysABTV, and we will chat throughout tonight's episode.
This tweet family's growing.
I know. I love it.
It's all
love
because
it,
of Kelly's hashtag. Yes.
It's our hashtag.
The ABTV hashtag. Well, yeah, tonight was crazy. And I knew that the actress that plays Ellis Grey, Kate Burton, was going to be coming back because I read an article about it.
Yeah.
So I knew it was going to be flashback heavy. I didn't know that it was going to be like flashback heavy, like different ages of that woman.
I liked that they had flashbacks to other episodes because even though I've seen all that stuff, it's nice to have it compiled into a nice little
I totally agree. It feels very vintage and real.
Now, for me, and I mean, the show's been on forever, but I guess seeing it all in one sitting, it really gives such a different inside look at Meredith's life.
Yeah.
I mean, I came out of this episode with a little bit of a different opinion of her and what she's gone through than I ever had before in all of these seasons.
Oh, really?
Really? I don't know if it changed your opinion at all. I mean, you kind of feel sorry for her, kind of, and you see a little bit of why she was always so dark and twisty, but this, I think, just took it to a whole nother level. Just seeing it all at once and how her mother really just kind of like tossed her to the side, and on so many occasions in her very, very, very young years.
Although this was one of the first times that I've ever seen Ellis Grey humanized. I never, ever thought of her as nothing other than just like a crazy work-obsessed bee.
Yeah, she really became human in this episode.
Well, and it was interesting watching Meredith be the one to humanize her, like watching the video of her on the panel and like remembering it from her side a little bit, like trying to remember those conversations and watching Richard's flashbacks. Like I don't know, I thought that was cool.
Yeah, this was powerful. I'm honestly having a little bit of a hard time even processing it.
Yeah,
it was hardcore.
Because it kind of turned a lot of the things that you thought about Grey's Anatomy on its head a little bit. What do you guys think, AfterBuzz? Do you have a different opinion of Ellis? I mean, are you feeling the same thing, Kristin?
Yeah, because Ellis was just such a a B before, and it was just, and I have a different opinion, like you said, of Meredith, because before it was like, oh, you were a little rich girl, and I know that you were kind of neglected, but
but get over it.
Get over it. Your mom tried to commit suicide in front of your face.
but
Whatever.
Taking away that part, like she has, I mean, you see all her privileges. She went to all these fancy schools and traveled Europe, and I get that her parents neglected her, and she didn't have a father and all that. But then it's like to see what she went through as a kid and to watch her mother go through suicide. And then, like she said, that she remembers being holed up in an apartment with her mom. And I mean, I can't imagine that at 5 years old with your mother being pregnant and remembering that she was crying all the time could have been easy. So
right. And what was crazy is we've heard about the flashbacks before. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't feel like we've seen these two characters in flashback before, or have we?
I can't remember seeing them that young.
We have.
We have seen
that young.
That cast of Ellis and Richard.
I remember Richard. I don't know if it was the same Ellis. I feel like it probably was. But we have seen them that young. There was an episode a while back.
Well, the carousel episode we have seen before. We saw both of them, but we never really got a good look at them. Like, we didn't see, at least I don't remember seeing it to this capacity.
There was an episode where where Richard and Ellis as interns dealt with AIDS.
Yeah.
A while back.
Right. There was that.
Yeah. So we have seen them that young before, but I don't know if it was all the same ones.
So sometimes I wish we had time between we screen it and we walk right in here and film it. Sometimes I wish we had time to research it.
I wonder processing the whole episode as we were talking.
Yeah, I wonder if it was the same exact people that played it, because I thought this was well cast.
It was you guys out there know. You guys totally know.
It was definitely the same Richard.
And that Richard's, he's just a handsome young guy. And I think to me, honestly, like the biggest reveal of this entire episode was Richard's take on it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Oh my God.
It gives me chills.
Because for so long we think, oh, they were in love, but Richard just really loved Adele. That's what we think. And then in this episode we find out that's not really his intentions at all.
No.
Yeah.
I don't even think he really admitted it to himself until that.
No.
That was crazy. I love the fact that she had this she-woman feminism speech talking about accepting her Harper Avery Awards. I have never liked Alice before.
No.
Ever. Not even a second. She's just always screaming until this moment.
It's just unfortunate she couldn't have really instilled that and shown her daughter that.
Seriously.
She did it in such a monstrous way.
Yeah.
At least from what we saw. I mean, the only flashbacks we really see are from her, when she was 5, and then flash forward to when she's an intern. So we don't really know if maybe it got better at all. So, I mean, I don't know. But it just, to be that empowering for women, and I'm dedicating this to all the women that will come after me. And, I mean, what she went through is kind of every working woman, like high-powered woman's nightmare, I would think, is falling in love with someone that just can't deal with it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely,
that competition and the struggle of that, of not being second fiddle to the man and having a man be a little bit kind of second fiddle to you, and them not being able to deal with it. And that's what happened here. And to listen to him admit that was powerful within itself.
Yeah, he said that they were going to leave their spouses, and then she got her first Harper Avery nomination as a resident, which it hadn't happened before, and he just was like, I can't do this for the rest of my life.
I feel like that was probably another thing for him, since he has gone through the residency program as the only black man in his residency, and then at home, at least, he gets to, be the surgeon and bring home the bacon.
Right.
But then it's like, oh, I'm going to be the only black man in my residency program, and then go home to my wife who just won a Harper Avery Award.
I could see that,
like, there's no winning. So, I mean, as sad as it was, Adele was good for his ego, kind of.
Yeah, not that we're excusing it, just putting together his frame of mind.
Just that he got to go home and, be the man that was a surgeon and brought home
Richard. Last week I felt so bad for him, and this week I feel like he's just such a wimp. He didn't even deserve that daughter.
No. I really hope he gets a chance to get to know her, though, because it seems like he doesn't have anybody anymore. He divorced Adele. He was with what's her name, Avery.
Oh yeah,
Avery's mom.
Avery's mom, yeah, and
Catherine Avery.
And then that didn't work out. And so it's like he doesn't have anybody, you know?
Yeah, just wandering around lonely guy. So at the very beginning of the episode, a couple of things were happening. The main thing that was happening was this like powerful flashback, which was spanning decades. Like young Meredith, and then there was young Adele, and then there was giving her speech. It was literally like a kind of a swan song of Alice Grey. But also, we find out almost immediately that Maggie had emailed the entire staff that she was quitting. And I get a lot of flack. I get a lot of flack from our AfterBuzzers on YouTube. Julie, why do you hate Maggie? Julie, why are you trying to make everybody hate Maggie? And I said, I'm trying to like her. They're just making it so hard. She's crazy.
They are. I don't even think that it's crazy. I just don't like how all of a sudden season 11 is Maggie Central.
Yes, that's what I said. Too much Maggie too soon are being force-fed her.
Exactly, and I don't want that. I want Meredith. That's why I watch the show. I mean, I want all of them, but Meredith is the central show. It's called Grey's Anatomy, Meredith Grey.
Right.
I don't want intros from Maggie, and I want to learn a little bit about her, and, you know.
Well, she is a Grey, too.
Yeah,
no, she's
I guess she
Pierce.
is.
She is a
Pierce.
Grey. Yeah,
She's
when
a
it comes
Weber.
like down to it, I mean, she is.
It was, so, I mean, I'm sorry to hate on one character, and I'm sorry you guys think I'm trying to make everyone else hate her.
Well, I'm hating on Bailey this season. The fact that she got the board seat, and I'm sad that I was not here to give my opinion on that episode. But that was so predictable and so ridiculous, and even watching her deal with it tonight in this episode with that whole Maggie situation annoyed me to pieces.
That was so fun. Yeah, we didn't, the other panel members didn't really feel too strongly about it.
Really?
I wanted Bailey to get it.
I hate it.
I wanted Bailey to get it, and I predicted Bailey would get it.
Well, that was so easy. Of course she's
Jason
gonna get
and
it.
Star both predicted Karev, though.
I kind of thought that they would because he's the underdog. And I hate that because Alex needed it. And it was not their seat to give out. It was Christina's money that she got in a settlement that got her a seat. It should have been Alex's. There shouldn't have been a board vote.
Yeah, now that you put it that way, whenever you talk about it in financial terms, it was his seat.
It was his seat. She signed her stocks over to him. That's what it was. It was stock in the hospital that she signed over to him. And
But-
it's like, how can they take that away from him?
I don't know. I feel like Bailey had been crapped upon, and I like it whenever Bailey's in charge of people. But you're right.
I can't
The
stand
second
it.
when
Like, I
she started
can't.
rallying the troops and bossing everybody
She's
around.
been on the board for 2 days, and all of a sudden she's everybody's boss. It's like, relax.
Oh my
Relax.
gosh, Kellie was not in this episode.
I was so not at all.
Has Kellie ever been not in an episode?
Oh, I know. She
Well, not
wasn't at
since-
all.
Not 1 second.
Not since she started, no.
Wow.
I'm bothered by that.
Yeah,
Jeez.
where was she?
I think, was Joe in this episode?
and
Joe was in the episode.
And then Owen was in it for like 3.5 seconds.
I don't remember Owen even
Didn't
being
I
in
don't
it.
remember being.
Didn't he walk up and say, am I going to have to find a new chief of cardio? And I think that was his only line.
Yes, you're right. You're right.
Oh,
But
yeah,
Kellie
yeah.
definitely wasn't in it.
No.
You know what's weird? In the description of the episode, because I was looking at it before it came on, and it was like, oh, Meredith does this, Richard does that. And Kellie focuses on the Veterans Project.
That was last week. That was totally last
Yeah.
week's. Huh. They must be like,
Interesting.
and to explain Kelly's absence, she's gone focusing on the Veteran Project. She's in this background. She has no scenes. Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So sorry, that was a little bit of a tangent, but so
No, but they're all, worried about Maggie quitting and, what it looks like for the hospital, the PR nightmare that it's going to be because they've lost 3 surgeons, or what is it,
Cardio.
2 up to this point in that
Back to back to
department.
back.
Back to back, right. So that's, Bailey's running around worried about that. Harping on Dr. Weber about, you're friends with her, you talked to her, what's the deal? And just like, blah, 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 the whole time, and I can't deal.
yeah, she can be annoying. That's
When
one of the
she's
things
happy.
I've liked about her, though.
But see, when she's happy, she's annoying. When she's sad and like working towards something, she's driven, and I like it. But when she's just happy, I don't like being happy.
I don't know. It's like 10
Was she being happy whenever she was trying to boss everybody around? I think she was just being Bailey.
No, but I like
she's,
her
like,
then
high
because she
on
doesn't really
power.
seem that happy. She's just like pushing forward. I want her to be happy, but not like that. She's all gloaty.
I like Bailey gloaty. I like
Yeah.
Bailey bossy and gloaty. I don't like her whenever she's Yeah, I do like her whenever she's gloating. I don't like her when I feel like she's making speeches all over the place for no reason.
Yeah.
I did this, and I did it for this reason. Can't I just have this? Stop. There's like a way that people talk on Shonda's shows.
That's what I kind of feel like that this is all kind of come to, is that she's been doing all of those and standing on the soapbox for all, like, yes, we know you work hard. Yes, you've done a lot of things. Yes, we get it. But right here, I mean, it just was like, the whole time about that. I can't do it. I can't.
Oh, Bailey's similar to Ellison, the fact that she worked so hard that her first husband couldn't handle it.
Everybody works hard. Everybody works hard. They're all doctors. They all work hard.
I know.
You know, they're all doing a really hard job. All of them.
I guess I love
with
the
all
fact
different home
I
situations.
love that Maggie was going to quit. Yeah. Not because I want her to be gone, just because finally I feel like she's just making an actual decision.
Yeah.
Instead of just wandering around going both ways.
I like how Derek's sister kind of got into it.
Derek's sister, what is up with Amelia right now?
Amelia. I really do.
Amelia's so weird. She just comes in with these odd one-liners.
I kind of love that about her, though.
I do too. I
like her a lot.
Should I? If I was a coworker with Amelia, I would be like, ugh, she gives me the creeps.
I don't think I would like her to work with. I don't think I would enjoy that, but I think I like watching her. She
comes in, oh, have you talked about it? Oh, it's something I learned today. Oh, she's just like coming in and out of scenes.
I know. I kind of
this entire season saying odd, funny things.
I think April was missing from this episode tonight too.
Oh my gosh, my favorite.
You like April?
April, yeah, she has been my favorite for a long time. Well, we've had Sarah Drew on this show before, and she is adorable.
I feel like she's probably an adorable person, but I don't like her character. It's so whiny.
Man, I have such a crush on Sarah Drew. She's so cute. We had a lot in common too. It was a great night. So I have a hard time not like loving April just because Sarah Drew's so cute.
Yeah. Maybe if I met her, I would feel differently. I just don't. April's a little bit. No.
She's annoying too, but I don't know. I liked her story. I thought it was different than stuff you see on TV all the time.
Yeah, I also don't like that she's married to Jackson. I don't enjoy that because that means Jackson's not single.
Yeah.
If I were to show up at the hospital, now he's going to be a father, and that's not.
I still like that so much better than him and Stephanie. Oh, she is another one that was bothering me in tonight's episode.
Stephanie was. What was she being odd about?
Like taunting Alex.
Oh, she knew. Okay, so that's another thing. Mm-hmm. The board seat happened, and Alex had assumed that at least his person, Meredith, and his boss, Arizona, had voted for him. Mm-hmm. And Stephanie knew. It was unanimous. Nobody voted for you.
Yeah. But, I mean, I feel like that was... No matter what, like, she's still pretty much an intern, you know? Like, I know it's she's not really, but it just kind of that level, and it's just just because your friend is dating him doesn't give you the right to be that disrespectful. Yeah. You know, like, that really bothered me just because of the level of kind of, like, respect that should be there between those two that aren't.
Oh, my gosh. I don't think any of them have, nobody has respect for their superiors.
But in that situation, I feel like that was a little too much over the line.
Yeah, I feel like, how did she say that she knew that information? Who told her?
Bailey.
Why would Bailey tell Stephanie that? That's like super unprofessional.
That's exactly what Meredith asked her.
Yeah, and Bailey and Stephanie work together all the time.
That was inappropriate. I see what you're saying, Kelly. Mm-hmm. I don't think people on the show have any respect for each other's superiorities or anything like that. But just when it comes to his reputation and something that he tried really hard for, there shouldn't be gossipy about it.
No, and that's what I felt was really wrong with the whole situation. Like, I get it, they're young and whatever, but for something like that, when it has to deal with your livelihood and do something different, there's just some places you shouldn't go. I don't care what you know. The fact that somebody's entrusting you with that also shows how disrespectful she is of her relationship with Bailey. Like, just to blurt out whatever she's telling her.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
You know what I mean? Okay. I just didn't like it.
On board with that. It was a small scene, but it was definitely annoying. And I have a hard time feeling bad for Alex. I don't know why.
Oh,
but I would feel really betrayed. And you guys were saying, like, it's the better friend thing to do, to vote for the person who you think would do a better job. I don't know. If my best friend, my person, the one that I had listened to talk while I was in the shower and, like, not prepared for my speech to help them, if they still hadn't voted for me, I would be furious.
I would
But
too.
it's running a hospital, though, you guys. Like, think about it. It's like when it's not like it was a prom king vote. It's not like it was, who you're going to, I'm going to vote for you because you're the friendliest. You know what I mean? This was running a hospital. It's very different. If he was really ready for it and meant for it, doesn't matter how many times you practice your speech would have already been good enough.
He didn't work on his speech to help Meredith, though.
No, but he did. And he had a lot of time before she went over there that day. So he could have. But remember, he took off to another another job and was doing all of that
If
stuff.
for any reason, that's why she shouldn't vote for him. Because he left the hospital recently. He took a different job. Bailey's like ride or die with this hospital.
Yes, she is. And I feel like even though this would have been a really good thing for him and I did want him to have it, I understand what she meant. You would have been fine. But she was exceptional. Do you want me to just have you in a situation where you're just going to be fine? I think he's going to do a lot better where he is, and that's where his strengths are. That's where he does better. He's not a people person. He doesn't know.
It's so true.
He's not ready yet for that. And I mean, I agreed with that decision. And it's doing what's best not only for your friend, but also for this hospital that you're running.
So yes, we should say he got a job back at the hospital. Wow, that was an easy fix. Apparently Robbins was like,
But the way she explained it, though, wasn't just like that.
She was like, she needed him back.
Because she trusts him to do what she can't do. Like, that in itself is a big deal. She could have went out and got anybody. He went to another practice. Not their fault he got fired because he was, his girlfriend was running her mouth. You know what I mean? Like, that nobody has to give him a job back for that. But their relationship, I feel, was that strong. She taught him a lot. And I feel like that was really heartfelt, that she can't do it. She doesn't want anybody else to do it but him. She didn't want him to leave in the first place.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like, that is a good place for him. That's where he should be. That's where he excels. And I think it's, it sounds like it's an easy fix, but when you look deeper into it, there's more to it than just, oh, here's your job back. Let's, pat you on the back.
She wants to focus on her fellowship, and she needed him to take over the cases that she couldn't, and wanted him back. Still, I do feel like that's resolved itself a little quickly.
It was like bang, bang, bang.
Yeah.
All right, we're all good.
Like, I quit. Huge deal. I'm fired. Huge deal. What am I going to do? Oh, yeah, in passing. I gave him his job back. I don't know. I feel like he should have.
Fix with Maggie and Meredith. It's like all
what?
fast.
Yeah, that's another story.
Yeah.
Okay.
Everything has the quick fixes.
I guess we could get into that. So Maggie's going to leave, and they're like, we have to get her to stay. Who's going to talk to her? Well, who's this person? Has he slept with her? Why does Meredith hate her? Meredith hates everyone. Who's going to talk to her? And then for some reason, Shepard. It falls on him. He's going to go talk to her.
That's the way his sister set it up. She did it on purpose.
Amelia, so
she totally
weird.
did that on purpose.
He was so cute in this episode.
Totally set that up on purpose because she knows how he is with them and sisters and family and all of that. He was the perfect person to have that conversation with her.
Well, the perfect person would have been either her biological father or her half-sister, but they both failed.
Initially, but at this point, no way. There's no way she was going to listen.
It had to be somebody.
I truly feel that the only reason why she even stopped to talk to Meredith was because of the way that Derek welcomed her, treated her, hugged her, and made it uncomfortable when he found out about that.
Yes, so
and that's all she wanted from them.
I just thought that moment was so cute with them.
Great.
So there's tons of resentment going on between Meredith and Derek, and this is a no-win situation. This is crazy Meredith putting her husband in a place that he cannot do anything right. Follow your dreams, you leave the family. Stay here, you leave your dreams. Neither situation is good, and she's like, make your choice. I didn't ask for this level of resentment from you. Although he was being super rude about it.
She doesn't want to be the reason. Look at everything we saw in the flashbacks that explains exactly why she's doing what she's doing right now.
Yeah.
If you put those two parallel together, it explains exactly why she's being the way that she is. Because she watched her mother almost kill herself over a man, and then flip it around and be like, no, everybody can be in love, but only certain people can do this. And then her dad left, and she watched that whole situation where he was dragged around, and then she watched her
stepmom die of hiccups.
Well, that has nothing to do with it. She doesn't want to be, she doesn't want to be the reason. She doesn't want to be the one that either holds him back or gets held back. And that is a very tough situation to be in. But what do you do? How do you fix it? How do you compromise when yes, both of your careers are just as equally important, somebody's always got to give.
And then the person that does give needs to be willing to do it with a glad servant's heart.
Everybody, but I really don't believe that there is anyone ever that will 100% gladly step back for someone else, like fully, completely, without with zero resentment.
There has to be one person that does it first, but then the nature of marriage is one person does it first, the next person does it the next time, and then like eventually it kind of snowballs where you're this perfect partnership and you always have somebody else to lean on.
That seems very idealistic to me.
You know what? It is, but at the same time, like that's the only way.
That's how it really
it's the
works.
only way it's gonna work.
No, but how? Because if you're giving up your one, you both are in line for a dream in two different directions.
Well,
You give up yours for your significant other. You just gave up your dream. What, you gonna get another one? You gonna go make up a new one?
So
how are you doing? That's what I'm saying.
Personally,
like, it's very hard to really. I want to meet the person that does it with zero resentment and just comes up with new dreams to follow all the time. You know what I mean? Like that's not real.
I've been married 5-ish, almost 6 years, and when we first got married, I moved from my husband's job, and it was rough because I came out to LA to do this, and I had been headed in this direction since I was a teenager. It was rough. It was like 2.5 years, and his job was going well, but he kind of realized like my wife needs to do this, so we moved from my job. And it's just sort of been going back and forth. I can't say that it's perfect. It's just been working out that way. It was like he saw, my job's going well, but my wife really needs to do this. So he made the move for me. And it's also the
level of commitment that you have with what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? Like when you're a brain surgeon, and you're both practically brain surgeons, and one of you is going to go work for the president, the other one is trying to cure cancer or fix Alzheimer's or whatever she's doing. Like, who's going to give up that?
Yeah,
I'll take your word on it because I'm not married. So
I mean,
I'll just say
it's not to say that it's easy, just to say that like, the way that they're both approaching this, Meredith needs to be more grateful for what he has done for their family, but he also needs to understand he did this for his family. He made the choice. He cannot be resentful and whiny about it.
He's not a martyr. They're both handling it bad.
You do it and you're proud of yourself, or not at all.
I feel like they're forgetting about their kids. Number one, I don't see them.
They're never in it.
Like, I feel like you had to have stayed. Derek, you stayed for your kids. I mean, you stayed for your wife. But what are you going to do across the country from your kids? You helped make them, one of them, and adopt the other. That was your idea. And you're just going to leave your kids with your wife? That doesn't really make any sense for me. So I feel like he needs to stop looking at it, I did this for you. No, you're both need to do your crap for your kids.
Right.
Because that's not, I feel like they're not focused on that.
Absolutely, yeah. They have their heads in the wrong place.
Yeah.
But so what was I think my favorite part of this entire episode? We see a flashback that the thing that Alice had been nominated for was the Grey method. And I don't know exactly what it was, using some balloon to do something else. Maggie was in a surgery with a large man who was accidentally paralyzed from some graft or something like that. Do you guys know why? The graft was cutting off circulation, or he had been paralyzed?
It was stopping blood from flowing to his spine, so there was no blood flow.
Okay, so they did this little test. They figure out he's going to be paralyzed. Nobody could do anything about it. Maggie pulls off this surgery that proves why she's such an amazing surgeon, and she takes an aneurysm and reroutes it to the spine. Is it possible? We don't know.
Maybe.
But in that moment, she uses the Grey method, right?
It's Grey's Anatomy.
I thought Meredith used it on her kid.
Yeah.
Oh, you're right. Dang it.
Yeah. But Maggie still did a fantastic and amazing surgery.
I forgot about that kid.
Yeah.
I completely. Yeah. Everything that went on. Everything that went on with the characters was so powerful it eclipsed the patients, and that hardly ever happens.
I know.
Okay, so yes, I completely forgot about this. A 10-year-old shows up to the hospital totally pregnant.
I was like, wow, they're going with like preteen pregnancy.
Yeah.
They're really gonna take it there.
I thought, okay, no way. Something else is wrong. No
I definitely thought she was pregnant.
Totally thought she was pregnant.
So they pull up the ultrasound. No, just a giant 9-month baby-sized mass. And the woman who had brought her in was like, I found this child on the street. Meredith she's like a Dutch woman. I found her on the street. Meredith is like, no way, that's a French braid. Somebody took the time to do that hair. That child's loved somehow. But yes, Kelly, you're right. Sorry about that. They take out the giant tumor, and Meredith does the Grey method.
Mm-hmm. That was good. That was a good moment.
That was. They just showed the flashbacks simultaneously.
Because Richard was watching and having the flashback.
And they show it in the journal. Grey method.
Yeah,
it was beautiful. That was really well done.
Well, it was nice. I mean, he got to see two from, one from Ellis and one from him, like, do these both amazing surgeries, because he's, as we know, is pretty talented in, in the field as well. So
Right.
to watch Maggie do something awesome, to watch Mary at the same time was a very, like, cool thing, I thought.
Yeah, definitely. And the girl lived. And of course, we find out that the random woman who found her on the street was the mother. We all knew that. But
What was your initial thought on her?
AfterBuzzers, I thought something evil about the mother and the child, but I was so wrong that I won't even mention it for us today. Let's just say I was wrong on all levels on that one. She was in fact a loving mother.
You should pitch it though to Grey's Anatomy, because maybe they'll think that's a good option for another episode.
It could come up later.
Yeah.
It was
so
dark.
funny.
It was dark.
I'll totally
We'll
tweet
just call that
later.
a prediction.
So this woman loved her daughter, but she was afraid, since they were illegal immigrants, that if she had to get her treated, that they would take her away. And so Meredith initially was going to call child services. And it seemed like this all crescendoed at the same time to Meredith reading the journals, talking to Weber, remembering things. She had a complete change of heart about both the mother and her half-sister.
And why do you think that she had a change of heart about this mother, and then it flashing back to her as a kid?
I don't really know. I know that Meredith was just like remembering things in increments, and we know that we had seen before she remembered her mother trying to kill herself on Carousel Day. Mm-hmm. And we know that she remembered crying, and just in her 5-year-old memory, that was blood, mom crying. She mixed the two together. And
Interesting.
Yeah, that's what I took from it. That's not what you took from it?
I actually didn't understand why she let her off the hook. I thought it was really surprising that she didn't turn her into the child.
I think what she thought is that sort of as she realized all of this, and as the pieces came together through the journal and through talking to Weber, is that when all is said and done, parenting is really, really difficult. And for the most part, you just try as hard as you can, and sometimes you have the capacity within yourself, and sometimes you don't. And I think she saw that what her mother was going through, maybe she did try for her, just didn't have the capacity to do anymore. Like this Polish mother. Maybe it was just a Polish braid. I don't know if she was actually born like that.
I would like to see more about Meredith, though, as she got older. Hopefully, we'll get more flashback into, like you said, her teen years, or what her life was. Because it's just like all we've gotten is young baby Meredith, adult Meredith.
You know, that's a fantastic point. I'm going to make a really bold statement right now. Dear Grey's Anatomy, if you put a wig on every age Meredith, we are going to revolt. I looked that child up. She has adorable blonde hair. There is no reason for this giant Barbie weave.
You'll have to tweet out a picture of that, because of a picture of
She's
her.
cute with her normal hair. It's blonde. It's weird that they would even do that.
They were like, your hair needs to be shinier and fader.
And bangs.
Ellis would have put a synthetic wig on her child.
No, but I totally agree. I think that I would love to see more of Meredith. And so we see Maggie have this amazing moment. And I feel like you guys, didn't she say go talk to your wife like 17 times during this episode? How many times could they cram that in a 45-minute show?
I thought it was really funny how he was like, yeah, no, it's not going to happen.
That was my favorite part.
And he wouldn't say why. He was just like, yeah, no, we're not going to do that. But you're going to have to talk to me.
And whenever Joe saw her do that fantastic surgery, she's like, take me with you. Yeah. Wherever you're going, take me with you.
I think that Joe is going to get interested in cardio with Maggie there.
Oh, that's a good prediction.
We don't have an intern in cardio anymore. There's no.
What, are they all dying?
Well, I mean, I guess it would be her.
They got rid of all those interns
They
except
did.
Joe and Stephanie.
Yeah.
Wow. I miss them. I know everyone else hated them, but I miss me some Shane.
Oh, yeah.
I can't even remember why he left.
He went with Christina.
Oh, that's right. He went
to
to Christina.
Switzerland.
That's right. How did I forget that?
They're probably, having sex in
Probably.
Switzerland.
Totally on
Seriously.
Mark's old desk.
Living it up down there.
That would be great.
Yeah.
Send them a Snapchat. After sex.
Thanks for the hospital.
So Derek goes to have a conversation with Maggie. Maggie tells him what's up. Derek has this strange PMS reaction. He's like, oh, Meredith is terrible at sisters. And that's a great point. Meredith is terrible at sisters.
She is.
And he's like, and I love sisters. I have a ton of sisters. He sounded like a sorority recruiter.
But he was so cute because he softened up so quick.
Yeah.
He really did.
He embraced her in the way that that's all she wanted anyone to do.
Seriously, if that's the response she would have gotten from either Weber or from Meredith, they wouldn't have been there right now.
No.
He didn't even question it, though.
That
He
was
like,
funny.
oh, Ellis and Richard had a
Did you see
daughter.
like the smile on his face?
He's like, you're
right?
Alice and Richard's
No
daughter?
way, that's awesome.
Oh, he's like, oh, but their love child.
Yeah. But then even when he goes to talk to Meredith about it, he's like, we're putting this stuff aside, and she's still, she's still trying to bring up the fight. What if I still want to fight, and being her stubborn little self? And, he sits there with her. He holds her hand, and he asks her if she's okay.
Yeah.
And that's how you know what I mean? Like, they really do love each other. They're both strong-willed, and they're both stubborn. And he, not so much as she, in the fact that, yes, he did give up this life, and he is staying with her. And I think he's going to be okay with it after a while. But it's just recognizing that, yes, that decision is his, no matter what, no matter what was going on. Like, that is a choice that he made. And the fact that he could put that aside and really see, I got to make sure that you're okay. I thought it was big of both of them to sit there and do that, I think.
And I know that we just talked about this, but after this therapy session that is this after show, I realized that's what Derek needs to do. He needs to be proud of his decision to be there for his family. Like, that is the goal that he set for himself, to take care of his wife and his kids and still have a fantastic neurosurgery career.
It's reevaluating. It's like, yes, you can go work for the president and you can do all of these great things, which is great. But how important is that in ratio to this family that you fought so hard to build and that you guys have? Like, you know what I mean? And that's what I mean by that, is like how important, like in your situation, the job wasn't more important than you. And it was easy to do that and to see what was the better scenario for me personally. And that's what Derek is having a hard time doing. He made the right choice. He's just having having kind of like buyer's remorse.
He just needs to get there.
Yeah, he's always been so driven. He's always been like the leader, the top dog, and all of that. And he's not right now. And it's a really, really hard place for him to be.
It really is. And so what was sort of happening at the same time that Derek is going through this journey, and you guys tell me if you thought it was a different thing. I think that we saw through the flashbacks Richard wishing that he had made the other decision and had gone with his true love, Ellis, even if it was his mistress, and had Meredith as his daughter and had Maggie as his daughter. I think he's seeing that he could have chosen a family over his own insecurities and jealousy, and he
says
didn't.
as much. He tells Meredith, everything that happened up unto the suicide was my fault.
But I really thought he loved Adele.
We all did.
I didn't. I never really thought that he loved Adele.
He seemed so there for her.
I think he was comfortable with Adele, and I think that he was in a position that was very hard to leave. He went home to dinner every night. Adele didn't work I know that she was a nurse for some time of her life, but I think most of their life together, she didn't work. She was a housewife.
She was in Snapple commercials, I believe.
So I think that he was comfortable, She had a house for him, and he went home, and it was a comfortable environment, and they were really good friends, but they weren't in love, and they weren't passionate about each other.
They showed so many different flashbacks. Because this was a beautifully written episode.
Yeah. It was
so
one of my favorites
intricate
so far this season.
You know what? Different. But I think I'm going to digest this one and think about it the most. So maybe me too, Kelly. But so we see a flashback, right? Whenever Ellis, I think in the final flashback of the two of them together had already known she had Alzheimer's. And she was like, I have so much of my life left. And she realized it wasn't going to be the same as she had predicted. And maybe her career and her life was going to be cut short. And that's when he was saying, I wish I'd made a different decision. Oh, I feel so sad for them.
Yeah, it was just like picture, and it is hard and it is tough, especially when you're young, to be able to, can you really be that happy for someone that you love if they're doing the same thing that you're doing but better than you? Can you stomach
That would
it?
be hard, yeah.
Really?
I think you can, but I don't know. But the thing about it is, like, you get one life, people.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Don't
Be
waste
with the one
it.
you love.
But don't like leave your spouse or anything. I'm just saying, like,
Unless you don't love your spouse.
I'm just saying, like, don't wake up one day and have regrets. It's short,
No,
it's so crazy. What a deep episode.
It was. It really was.
Yeah, so we didn't see.
I think
much.
we've got like 3 minutes before
All right,
they're
well,
going to kick us out.
okay,
of
well,
here.
then we absolutely have to do news and gossip.
What do you got?
AfterBuzz
I have
TV
so
News.
many things.
Oh.
Okay, so first of all, I took some screenshots. 3-time Emmy nominee has played mom to the likes of James Franco, Leah
totally saw
Mitchell,
that.
and David Schwimmer. So Kate Burton, they were writing an article about her coming back on this.
Uh-huh.
And there's a saying in Hollywood, there are 2 secrets to success. Have the 3-time Emmy guest star in your pilot or have her play your mother. Apparently she's played the mother to some of the most like famous actors and actresses. And if she's in a pilot, it succeeds. Even if she's not in the show.
Awesome.
Like Veep, Scandal, all of them. And then I do have one more. Oh my god, I take so many screenshots.
I think it's all those selfies.
This one, yeah, I know, right? Kelly's like, those aren't screenshots, they're pictures of yourself. So I was reading a spoiler, and this is interviewing the actress that plays Maggie. It said, now that Maggie knows the truth about Richard, how awkward will it get on Grey's Anatomy? And she talks about how she didn't really give Richard a chance to explain himself, and it sounds like she won't provide him that opportunity anytime soon. She's too upset. She doesn't trust him, pointing out that Maggie still doesn't know the truth. Blah, 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 blah. There's not a lot of reasons for her to want to stay, and so she still wants to go home. Yes. Oh, I know we have moved on to news and gossip, but I don't want to forget about the part where Meredith showed her the journals. That was very special.
Yes.
We learned that
Touching.
whether she wanted to keep the baby or not, she was concerned about her safety.
And I thought she handled it really well. You know, she said, I know that you want to leave, and I understand you wanting to leave. You don't need a sister, but this was our mom. Here you go.
That was beautiful of
Yeah.
Meredith. Finally. After being a brat every second of season 11.
I know.
She's always like that, though. She's a brat until she's not.
Yeah.
And she wasn't. That was a sweet moment to me.
Yeah.
All right, on to predictions. So we saw
Now, your
Sorry,
AfterBuzz
sorry.
TV
predictions. Yeah, spit it out, guy. Next week, Calzona drama, blah, blah,
So,
blah.
I'm
Is anybody
sorry.
excited about that anymore?
I'm sorry. I'm so kind of
I'm-
over it.
Nobody cares.
I would be okay if they split up.
Oh!
I would. I think that everyone's gonna be like, no, you are not. But I don't feel like I'm rooting for them anymore. Like I was rooting for them for so long. I wanted them to be together and work through it, but I'm not rooting for them anymore.
Well, I feel like this is such a repeat.
I know this is how I feel about Christine and Owen. Whether I liked the relationship in the beginning or not, I didn't after they almost broke up or did break up
then got
so
back together.
many
That's
times.
Well, and it's the same thing. Arizona being selfish in Callie's eyes when she took off to Africa for like a day.
Yeah.
And then, you know, it's the same thing.
People online-
Can we have a new story?
They say, well, Callie's selfish too. They're both selfish. Okay, who cares who's selfish
They're
anymore?
doctors. They're all
These
selfish.
two characters are doing the same thing over and over
Can we
again.
have a new
Whether
story?
it's the leg or the affair or the baby or the job, it's the same thing.
I just feel like they've had to overcome so much, and sometimes you can't overcome it all. You know, they've plowed through so many barriers together, and it's just like you don't win them all.
When are these two people
And-
just going to be together
yeah.
for good? You
They-
know?
they either need to like at this point decide, are we going to be together and people are going to keep rooting for us, or are we going to pull them apart and see if they can be happy with someone else?
Seriously, give them their second baby because I think that's fun.
I have a prediction though.
Well, baby's
that-
not a Band-Aid. Let's not go down that road.
No, I have a prediction that they're gonna split up and Callie's gonna realize that she's bi, and
Get with a dude
yeah, I think she's gonna
and get pregnant again.
Again?
That is a good
I think she's gonna
prediction.
get with Owen,
Ooh,
That's a
that's
good
a
one.
great prediction.
and then I think that maybe I don't know. I could kind of see Amelia getting with Arizona. I'm like blanking on her name.
weird.
Really?
Oh,
I'm just,
look
like,
at
blowing
you!
this whole
Look at you with your crazy predictions.
Blowing things up at every
so
turn.
I-
Next episode, but maybe by the end of the
I
season.
have one, and I can't take credit for it because I think one of our viewers put it on YouTube. I predict that Maggie is also going to have the Alzheimer's gene, and maybe even early onset Alzheimer's, and they will bond through that.
Yeah,
and then
Oh, that's
Meredith will
good
find a
one.
cure, and then they'll be besties for the rest of their
Yeah.
life.
So whoever it was online that said that, I wish I had written down your username to give you a proper shout out, but that was good. That was good.
That would be awful for her too, because she'd be like, I can't lose another sister.
I know.
Oh, she's used to it by now. She does it on Thursdays. Kelly, you have any?
I don't know. I think I agree with you guys. It's going to get crazy. But,
So let's rate the episode. I would put this in the 9s.
Yeah.
yeah.
It was my favorite this season
9.4.
by far.
Beautifully written. I mean, like,
roller coaster all the way
And
through.
it was edited amazing, just the way that they, cut between scenes with flashbacks and not ones.
so many parallel stories weaving through about parenthood and relationships, and beautifully written.
all the way around.
Way to
Great
go,
job.
Grace.
Yes.
In the 9s.
Yes, excited.
One of
for
my
next
favorite
week.
ones in the past, 3 seasons, I think.
Definitely. I'm curious if we all just felt it because we were together and it was so beautiful, or if people at home. So please let us know on iTunes, on Twitter, ABTV, that's our hashtag, and on YouTube.
Grey's Anatomy, ABVT.
Oh, Grey's.
ABTV.
Grey's ABTV.
Yes.
Grey's ABTV. That's it.
It's a
That's our
mouthful.
hashtag. Sorry about that. But until next week, we will have our special guest here next week, and I will not be here next week. But looking forward to episode 5.
Yay.
Me too.
And thank you guys so much for watching. I'm Julie Partin, and you can find me on Twitter at JuliePartin.
And you can find me at Kelly with an IE 079.
You can find me on Twitter at Kristin Strange with an IN.
Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you later.
Bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.